I can't help but be looking for more weird track marks like we saw the other day.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, although the paper and where we were, they were all deeper than 2,000 meters, so they would be new up here.
Yeah. My mind's going to be unsettled until I get an explanation for those.
I think this morning I saw somebody, I don't know if it was in an email or if it was in the chat, that they were more convinced that there was something akin to beaked whale feeding, where you've got a cetacean that just sticks its nose in. But 2,500 meters, it seems pretty deep for one of those whales. But the shape, it seems right for that, you know? Yeah, have to be a very precise beaked whale. Maybe it likes what? Yeah. I'm seeing straight ahead, just before the rock pile, something sticking up like a feather. It's black from the bottom. Yeah, what is that? Thank you. Probably a Parantipathes growing off of one of those little cobbles. But just in case it's a sea pen, we'll have a close look. Yes, indeed. That is a Parantipathes black coral growing on that little cobble. And you can see the difference between this one and those Acanella colonies. The Acanella can grow in the sediment, where these ones have to be on a hard surface. So the larva here found this little cobble and was able to grow on that. And then that must have attracted these two little squat lobsters that you see very commonly on these Parantipathes. I think, if it hasn't been proven yet, I would be willing to wager that there's a species-specific relationship between the species of squat lobster that's on Parantipathes and the species of Parantipathes. And there's a little hermit crab right at the base. No, we can move on. Thank you.
Well, here's the title of a paper: Geomorphological Evidence of a Large Vertebrate Interacting with the Seafloor at Abyssal Depths in the Region Designated for yada yada yada. And it talks about whale marks at a depth of 4,200 meters.
Wow. What kind of whale marks are these?
Let's see.
Cuvier's beaked whale. Oh, yeah. Let's have a look at this large colony that is coming into view on the center. This is a nice one. This might be, I'm going to guess from a distance that this is the bamboo coral we saw earlier that we suggested might be Ecnomyces, but this is a much bigger colony of it.
Yeah, they talk a lot about beaked whales in this paper.
So does it say they saw them? I mean, or is it just conjecture like the rest of us?
I think it's conjectural, and they saw some whale acoustics on the sonar, but I don't think they'd identified.
Sorry, Nav, were you speaking to me, Watchley? Thank you, Nav. Yeah, I would like to get a tighter view on the branch in the front is fine, just so I can look at the polyp level. Thank you. It's got one of those, what was it? You had looked up the name.
No, somebody-
stenodactyl, something like that.
Somebody had put the name in the chat, yeah.
Right, and then you were suggesting the steno referred to the hooks on the back, I think. Yeah, so in this case, all of these sternostylus, yeah, the polyps are extended, and so I can't tell if they have that volcano shape when they're retracted. But yeah, that's good. Let's look at the branch in behind because we got more of a side view to the left. Thank you. Yeah, great. So you can see some of those white lines that are moving through the polyp body wall. Those are the sclerites that are embedded in there, and what we can see is that they kind of curve up the axis instead of being straight up and down or perpendicular to the axis. And the other thing I am seeing is there are not really long, prominent needles sticking up through and around those tentacles. So that's all useful information. Let's see what Les Watling has to say. He's still talking about the beaked whale. Everybody's talking about the beaked whale marks at 4,000 meters. All right, thank you. That's great. So getting back to the clade idea, Ashton, that's definitely a declayed bamboo. And so it's either going to be a keratoisis or a ecnomysis, and that's what we were looking closely at those polyps for to see if we could tell. And I don't think we've done this all expedition, or certainly not this dive, but on the face of the rock, right in the center right now, is I'm pretty sure that's a brachyngid. And we haven't looked at any of those yet. That would, if so, that would be another echinoderm. This would actually be more closely related to the sea stars. I'm hesitating now to make sure it's just not a crinoid with its arms way outstretched. Nope, I was wrong. That's a crinoid. Okay, I can tell it's a crinoid because you can see underneath it those thin white lines. Those are the cirri, the feet-like structures that are holding it to the rock. What's nice, though, is we're getting a top-down view, and that dark slit that you see in the center would be the mouth. And then on the right side of that, using the volcano theme, there's a little raised cone, and that's the anal cone.